So Jock, it's been a few years since we spoke to you on Caps TV.
Yep.
But this coming Saturday, we've got obviously a big game. First of all, the Caps take on Whitley Warriors, two informed teams in the SNL at the moment. But it's also a massive night for you and your family. Your number 12 jersey's got to be retired here at Murrayfield Ice Arena. Just first of all, Jock, what does that mean to you?
Well, it means a lot to me, just to get recognised what I put into the game for the past 50 years probably. I've been involved since I started skating here right through, so yeah, it's quite an honour for me.
So we'll go right back to the start, Jock. You were born in 1954 in Edinburgh.
Yep.
You grew up basically obviously in the 60s.
Yeah.
Playing football, big football player, weren't you?
Yeah, I was a half decent football player. We ended up, I was playing, I signed for Tynecastle Boys Club when I left school, but I didn't enjoy it, so I fell away from that. And then we started up with an actual juvenile team just in Drylor where I stayed, just all local lads. And we done really well over 4 or 5 years, yeah. Won one of the cups at one, which is called the Lady Darling Cup. It was like for all the teams that got knocked out of the Scottish Cup early. And we ended up winning that, despite having to play in Glasgow in the semis and in the final. So it was quite an achievement, that.
And was that right as well? Did you have trials? Was it Meadowbank Thistle?
Meadowbank Thistle, I played two games for them. I played on the Wednesday night in a closed door game. For a life of me I can't remember who it was we played, but on the Saturday we played Raith Rovers and we beat them 1-0. And all the hockey guys that were in the, at that time it was the Raiders, wasn't it? The Racers. The guys in the Raiders came down to Meadowbank to watch me play.
For them that probably is listening, maybe the younger generation don't know who Meadowbank Thistle are.
Well, it's now Livingston, eh?
Aye, so it's now Livingston, eh? But at the time they were one of the professional teams along with Hearts and Hibs, weren't they? So, and what about football? Who was your team, Hearts or Hibs?
Hearts.
Oh, well, that's half the folk that are listening to this already just switched off. But so then you obviously, you got involved in hockey. I mean, before you told me a wee story, just tell us how that happened that you just appeared at the rink.
Well, I'd already been skating, then I stopped skating for 2 or 3 years, and then I had to get in touch with my brother to get my message from my mum. And I went up to his house, he wasn't there, and his wife said that he's down at the rink, so I came down here to tell him. And what sort of guys that I used to skate with, the sessions. And I just, from there on, I got my interest back into ice hockey. I started coming in to watch the games, and then I went on a away trip to Whitley Bay and everything where I met my wife. And then the following, well, through the summer, my brother brought me in here Sunday mornings, like 6 o'clock Sunday mornings. They were practicing or playing games or whatever, and I was just mucking about in the corners with a stick, just trying to get used to it. So. And
you were, was it right, were you 18 at that time?
I was 18, yeah.
Which is crazy now when you think the juniors, they're on the ice 4, 5, 6, but you couldn't do that now, could you? Like an 18-year-old going into, at the time of that era, was the top flight of hockey that you went into at that time. You couldn't do that now, could you?
Well, nah, you couldn't do that. No, well, it'd be very difficult, unless you were, I'm not saying I was special, but unless you were special nowadays.
Yeah.
But at that time it was, I wouldn't say it was easy, because there was quite a big group of guys that actually played, and they were all mates that played in the team. So we enjoyed socially as well as being actually playing on the ice.
So what year was it you broke into the Racers team?
Well, it must have been, the year it must have been 72, I think it was, or 73 maybe. Because I'd been playing, only played a season and a half in the Raiders.
Right.
When I was actually called up into the Racers, because Jock Hay, he broke his wrist. And at that time they only run with 10 guys and a goalie. So if one went down, you were short. So I got taken up for what, 6 or 8 weeks service, which was more or less the rest of the season, because Jock Hay had broke his wrist. So.
And was it like as an 18-year-old, was it a daunting task kind of going into a team? Obviously, they were a successful team as well around about that time.
Well, yeah, they were still a successful team, yeah, and well, it was daunting, yeah. I do remember my first game. Know much about the game, but I remember coming out of the dressing room, and Freddie Wood, who I was playing with, taking Jock Hay's place, said, "Are you nervous?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Don't be nervous. All you need to do is when you get the puck, give it to me." And that was my instructions. I thought, well, I'll just stick by that.
Simple as
If I
that.
get the puck, Freddie's getting the puck if I can get it to him. So.
Do you remember who you played?
No, no got a clue.
So Joe then had you played here for 17 years,
Yeah.
and some amount of honours, you won league titles, playoff titles, autumn cups or Norwich Junior Cups, whatever they were called, Scottish Cups, everything,
Yeah.
you won it all, but I'd imagine there's a few many, but is there one that sticks out the most for you?
Well, the one memory that always sticks out is when I scored a hat-trick here, and I think it was the Norwich Cup final, Norwich Union Cup final, against Durham, I think it was. I think it was actually a club one.
It was on that, wasn't it? 85 that was, 85, I just actually, I'll cut that clip, that's what it was, but...
Yeah, it was, and I scored a hat-trick here, and obviously I remember my last goal. I remember a few goals, but nothing that had any importance to these goals.
But hat-trick in a cup final?
Well, a hat-trick in a cup final, yeah, especially when you're playing with the likes of Tony Hand and Ferrer, so...
And then, so, you played with some amount of players through the years at the Racers, some great imports, some great British players.
Yeah.
I'm going to put you on the spot, Jock.
Right.
So I'm going to ask you your top line. So we'll go a goalie, 2D, 3 forwards and a coach. But you can give some honourable mentions because I'm sure it'll be hard to maybe...
Well, it would be hard because we had, in the successful times in the early 80s with the likes of Tony and Paul Hand, Murray Hanson, Paul Petland, Paul Heavey, all these guys, it was the British core that was the most successful, that made us successful, because we were all decent enough players, and combined with the imports, it turned out always so we were quite a successful team.
Right, so we'll go a goalie.
The goalie by that time was Murray Hanson, and Murray played for near enough as long as, well, for the 80s, because all these guys started coming into the team, like say Tony, Paul, Murray, they all come into the team the early 80s, like maybe 80, 81.
Yeah.
They came into the team then, and they progressed from there. So Murray was there. Martin Mackay, he come in for a year or two. I think Mike Ward, he come in for a season or two for Dundee. But they were the main culprits in the goals.
So we'll go with Murray then.
Well, Murray and like in different eras, in the early era when I first started playing was Wally Clark, that was a goalie. He was a top goalie, great Brighton goalie. And he was quite a successful goalie as well. He played with GB and everything, quite a few times. So that's the main ones in the goalies.
Right, we'll go 1 D man, first D man.
First D man, going with the British guys was Paul Hand, Paul Petland, and Paul Heavey. They were the 3 guys that played, and they played with Chris Kelland.
Yeah.
Chris Kelland was on the ice for 55 minutes.
That's one thing I always remember about Chris. When I was a wee kind of boy coming in watching it, the only time he was off it was a penalty.
That's right. I mean, it was unbelievable. Like Iron one, they used to call him.
So see, just got touching on Chris as well. Like, was that like you hadn't really seen when Chris came here and he was just like super fit and because I'm assuming like that was a bit different.
Well, a bit different. It was I think when Chris came in, I think it was Alec Dampier that brought him.
I think it was.
Alec had come in and then he got the coaching role. He played the first season that he was here, and he was pretty plagued by injuries, unfortunately, because Damps was a really good hockey player. And then the next year he started coaching. He got the coaching role and he brought Chris in. And Chris is a tough guy as well, so he brought, I think one of the reasons he brought him in because he was a tough guy to look after the young guys. The likes of Paul and Tony, Paul Petland and that. But as you know, Paul Hand and Tony, they never really needed looking after it.
No, great handlers.
So-
So any other D-men that you would mention?
They were
They
They
the
were
main
more or
ones.
less the mainstays of Dundee, the defencemen right through the 80s, so there wasn't actually any other D-men.
Right, we're going to forwards then. Who would you have as your forwards?
Oh, well, obviously, first name in the sheet would be Tony.
Yeah.
Because Tony's.
So just touching on Tony as well there, Jock, can you remember, like obviously you were a bit before him, so can you remember like hearing about this kid that's, or was it just...
I'd heard about the kid, and what had happened was in '81 the British team were away, and I was in the British team that year away to China, and when we were away, they would have games maybe against Fife or whatever, play for the fourth cup or whatever.
Yeah.
So they had to bring in players to fill in for the guys who were in the British team, because there's quite a few of us away in the British team. So that's when these guys first got into the team. And you had heard about this young kid,
Right.
13-year-old, or I think he was 13 at the time, 13-year-old kid, and you go, 13-year-old kid. And then as soon as you see him, you go,
Yeah.
story.
Spoke for itself, didn't it?
If there's, I mean, Tony was fit in his earth to be an ice hockey player.
Yeah.
He's just a natural, which you see right over the years, from the hockey that was played in the early 80s right through to the 2000 and odd, the standard was going up every 2 or 3 years, and Tony was able to.
Because even got into the Super League and that, he
Yeah,
was still he was still like an import basically, when he was scoring import points.
He's at the same level, if no better than imports.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what I say. Like if he was definitely good enough the earth to be an ice hockey player.
So what other forwards would you have? Was it?
Rick Ferrer was like, he was something else for scoring as well. Him and Tony together, they were a phenomenal duo, like for scoring. Like the points that they scored over about 2 or 3 seasons was unbelievable.
Yeah.
But they were the mainstay. I like Dampier was a good hockey player.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate he got injured quite often.
Yeah.
I try to think who else, like in the 80s at that time, because a lot of the imports that come over, they were good, but nothing like that would stand out. I think that was probably one of the failings later on in the 80s with the racers, was that we could have done with better, like a better standard there. I'm not saying they were bad players,
Yeah.
but we could have done with a better standard or import.
Yeah.
To produce more, because a lot of them they come in, they were good guys, good hockey players, but you needed something a wee bit special from an import.
Yeah.
So we missed out on that a few times, I think.
And what about Scottish? Should we mention him in this?
Scotty was again, Scotty was a sniper,
Yeah.
Like he used to, like if he got the puck in the slot, get 9 times out of 10 be a goal, he was good. There's a few times he had actually went back on D as well, and he was able to play there as well. So he was a good influence with other guys as well.
And what about a coach? Who was your favourite coach? Can you
The coach, my first coach was Johnny Carlisle, who was a real hardcore, like for fitness levels. So there'd probably be better teams than we, but there was none of them any fitter than us. The dreaded words that you used to hear was right on the boards, and that was you for 15-20 minutes skating, especially if you had mucked up or probably doing what you're supposed to be doing at practice and that. So I've seen guys crawling off the ice, like I mean crawling off the ice. Even when he was a GB coach, guys come up here and they used to, after 10 minutes, they'd be hanging over the boards. And the guys, the Murrayfield guys would be saying, "Look, you'd better buck up, because this is only the warm-up. This is only the warm-up." But yeah, and Alec Dampier, he was a good coach as well. Alec Dampier, Leo Koopmans, he was a funny guy as well as being a good coach. He sort of, like when he came in, practices were different, which kept your interest a lot more when the practices were different to what you were used to. Probably OK Almo, he was the first one that come in and changed how we actively practiced. But I mainly like Alec Dampier and Koopmans. They were about the and Johnny Clark. They were about the three guys that had the biggest influence on me,
Yeah.
especially Johnny Clark.
Perfect. So, December 1991, you retired
Yep.
after 17 years of playing. What was the decision there? Was it just the right time, did you feel? Or?
Well, I think it was the ice time starts going down a wee bit, and there's younger players coming through. And I was branded the old guy of the team when I was about 31. I can't remember the commentator's name, but used to be on the television because it started televising the games. So getting to 38 and still playing at that level, I thought it was pretty good. So, and it was the time to retire, yeah, because there was younger guys coming in, starting to show that.
So your last game, I dug out the programme.
Yep.
So I'll just ask you a couple of questions. Do you know who it was against?
It was against Billingham Bombers, yeah. I always remember that. And the goalie was Terry Ward. And I remember it was up this end. And I was a left winger all my days. For some unknown reason, I was coming off the right hand side. And Paul Petland had the puck on the left D. And I saw him looking up, making eye contact with me. That was heading to the back door. And he fired in a great pass, and it was, luckily enough, it hit off my stick. I went in to score in the last game.
And that was it. It was the fifth goal of the game. You won 5-2, and you scored the last goal. You also set up the game winner. You set up Lindsay Lovell, I think it was, for the game winner, and you got man of the match. So why did you retire? Man of the match, the goal and assist.
Well, these were few and far between man of the matches. I think I got the man of the match when I scored the hat trick as well. But there was always somebody that was taking the limelight with loads of goals or something like that, or a fight or something.
And was it right as well that night that John Robertson, Hearts player, was he there to present you? He had been playing with Hearts at the time, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I always mind the scene. I think Ross and Neil were on the ice in the Vaughan as well. I always remember that photo. But so obviously your playing career was over. You stepped into coaching, but you'd already been touched on the coaching, I think.
Well, there was a couple of times when we were left without a coach. Liam Koopmans left early, and Archie Henderson as well. So Billy Dunbar asked if I would take over to see us out to the end of the season, which I did a couple of times.
And was when did you know you wanted to get involved in coaching?
Well, more or less probably when I finished, I was ended up being the manager of the Racers. I worked with quite a few guys like Rocky Saginack and that. When I first retired, he was the coach that I brought in when the ice rink sold the club to private owners. So Rocky Saginack had come in. He was a really good coach as well. He was a good guy. But he was only here for the one season. Then John Newbery took over, and then that was the demise of the Racers were finished after that.
So you had that final year though, didn't you, the Edinburgh Racers, and you were the head coach, weren't you, and that was like...
Yeah, well that was like the 3 years, the 2 years that it was new owners with Derek Riley and Bear Adams that took over the ice hockey. Then the Racers went down the tubes, the Murrayfield Racers went down the tubes, and Stuart Robson took over, and they had to change the name to the Edinburgh Racers, and they asked me if I would coach them. So
I always mind that was about the time I'd been coming to the Racers maybe the late 80s. That was when I first started coming, but I always mind that season was one of the ones that, like that line of Tony, Chris Palmer and Ivan Matula was probably still to this day one of my favourite lines. I mean the line the year before with John Newbery, Chris and Tony was brilliant as well, but the Ivan one and Chris, I always just thought they had everything, Tony was playmaking, Chris could score, and Ivan was just a workhorse.
Yeah, he was just, that was more or less the same when John Newbery was there. John Newbery used to get tagged out, he was too slow to play with Chris and Tony. But then when Tony and Chris, he was back there digging pucks out, passing it up to Chris and Tony, there's nobody in the league would get up there beside him. Because they were straight up on the attack.
Newbery, he played in the NHL as well,
Well, he was a good hockey player as well. He was a strong guy, a really strong guy, good skater and that. But he was a good player too.
So that Edinburgh Racers season, that was 94, 95, and then obviously that summer, or just after the season ended, the Racers were gone completely, you know. How hard was that for you? You know, you've spent all your kind of, for 18 onwards here, or maybe earlier when you're skating, whatever, but for all of a sudden, you know, you've met so these guys like Tony, Paul, Pentland, Scott, Neil, Paul Hand, all these guys, and then all of a sudden, Murray, you've not got that anymore. How that must have been so tough.
It was tough, and there was a deadline when because there was the ice rink had made an offer to the team. Actually, Stuart Robson made an offer to the ice rink, and they wanted something else, and they said, right, there's deadline Friday, and Stuart Robson was away in Canada on holiday, and they said, like, 5 o'clock Friday is the deadline to accept the deal, and Stuart Robson said, we're not accepting the deal. You'll not be hearing from me, I'm away on holiday. So it was a take it or leave it, and the ice rink didn't, like, obviously refused that. So 5 o'clock came and gone, and there was quite a few of us, like Paul Hand, Tony, Murray and that, were waiting on that phone call from Stuart, and it never came. So and that was it, and you go, well, what's going to happen now? So it went back into the hands of the ice rink.
It's not just that as well, like, obviously you use guys as players, but you know, the fan base as well, it is still a great fan base. And you would have been good pals with a lot of them because...
Well, that was one of the things during that period as well. I had a good rapport with all the fans. Like, you knew quite a lot of them personally because of the different social events that they held quite often, and loads of the fans were there. So you got to know quite a lot of the fans on a personal level. Just apart from that, because you've known them for that long, eh?
Yeah.
Haven't been coming that long. And they had a good rapport with the fans, so it was devastating for them because the next year when the ice rink took it back, the ownership back over, it was all just young kids that were playing, and the hockey wasn't very good.
So moving on, so that was the Murrayfield Royals that were formed for three years, I think they played.
Yeah.
I think you were involved in the coaching there as well, was it?
Not to start with, really.
Was it the last?
I think the last season of the Royals.
Roger and that.
It was Roger come in because they ended up. Roger asked if, like my son Ross would come up into the Royals and play, so I sort of got involved in that respect there.
And then the Caps were formed in 1998, and you know, kind of then onwards, right up to 2018, I think was the last season here in the Elite League. But you were involved in the SNL as well.
Yeah.
Just like looking back on that time with the Caps, you know, how much did you enjoy that? Just doing all that coaching with them?
Well, I was always. I think I had them for 1 year as the head coach, but no, it was just really the assistant coach. I think it was Tony that brought me into the fold because he got the job as player coach and asked me if I would come in and help him run the bench, which I did, and then they couldn't get rid of me after that. I was there for the rest of the time. But yeah, it was enjoyable because I worked under quite a few coaches then as well, learning a lot from them as well. But I enjoyed my time with the juniors too. And the juniors, like, not the younger age, I didn't have the patience for the younger ones, like 12, 14 year olds, but like 16 year olds up to the SNL was good because it's good to see them developing into decent hockey players, and they were getting a chance in the Capitals as well. So good.
Before we go, I've got to talk about the juniors, where you're coaching that as well, but we'll talk about the Caps there. So you were there over that period of time, and a lot of good players were there, you know, some of the imports, some good British players as well. Again, if you were to pick a kind of line or kind of honourable mentions, your kind of Caps, the guys that you were involved obviously with the coaching, who would you go with? So a goalie, who was the goalie?
A goalie would either be, well, John Finney when he first came over, he was a great goalie. He was a madcap.
Crazy.
He was a real goalie, like typical goalie, like there's someone missing there. You've got to be stand there and face these pucks, but he was a good goalie as well. Reader, he was a good goalie, and Besco was a really good goalie as well.
We didn't see as much of him because he got injured as well.
Well, he got injured as well. Well, I think he had just come back from injury.
He had when he came here, but and then he went to Belfast. It was unbelievable, wasn't it?
He was a good goalie, and Reader was a good goalie as well.
Scotty.
But quite a few goalies actually.
Cody Rakowski as well.
Yeah, Ladislav, aye.
Vlad,
I mean, they were good goalies too.
Redlovsky as well. A lot of
There
goals.
was quite a few
they went
that went through. They were
So what about D-men?
D-men. Well, Pavel Kowalski, he was unbelievable.
Vlad,
Unbelievable.
it's very good.
He could hold on to the puck, like for kind of killing penalties. He could hold on to the puck for near enough for 2 minutes, kind of if he wanted to, because he was a good, really solid defenseman, like smart, kind of good vision and everything. He was really good. Like he would calm panic in situations. Then as soon as he got on the puck, he was really good. Other D-men that we had, like later on, Jacob Johnson, he was like a smooth player,
I like you.
good skaters, big Jan.
He was something I always thought he was like something we'd never seen before. Just this guy, 6'7" or something, just big, could skate from end to end, like just.
Oh, it's just like the size.
Always mind the fight he had with Rob Trumbley down in Newcastle. And he pulled, and they were fighting, and obviously Trumbley would have, obviously he's passed away sadly now, but he would obviously fight anybody. And then Jan was so much bigger than him, but eventually, like Jan wasn't a fighter though, like he wasn't in his nature coming from Jack Fuller, wasn't he? And so he wasn't in his nature, but then I mind him just grabbing his hair, because Trummer had the long hair at the time, he just grabbed his hair down to the ground. I always mind that, but
that was the best thing to do, because Trumbley could fight.
he was tough, man. He was tough. So any other D that you want to mention there, or just all you can think of?
And for import wise, there was few like Lucas and all that. They were good. They were good hockey players. But that's probably there's probably other ones that have passed over like that. We've had quite a few good imports in that steadied the ship. They were good. They were good under pressure.
Yeah.
Which helped out the young British guys and that as well.
So what about forwards then? For your Caps time?
There's quite a. Well, I've been through a load of them. Like I'm trying to think of names. You put me under pressure now. The names going right in my head. I also.
Well, I'll throw some in, maybe Colin Hemingway.
He was a good player. What was that?
St Jack's.
St Jack's. He was a really good hockey player as well. Chris Palmer with the Racers, but the Capitals, they were. Singy was a good hockey player when he came over. He stayed here for obviously quite a few years.
Pavel Vodviev.
Pavel was a good player, especially like Russian. The guys would go after him, and he was never a fighter. So they put pressure on him just by going and hacking him. So, but yeah, he was good. He was a good player. I try to think of others, but.
Rennie Allen.
Oh, yeah, like he was phenomenal. He had one really good season there. He was just scoring for fun. I think he was a league goal scorer right up to the last few weeks of the season.
Good score, Rennie.
He was good. I mean, he looked an awkward player. Like he didn't look a great skater, but he was good. He was clever. He was really clever. Made himself loads of space in that. Just because his brain worked differently. He was good.
And what about a coach? Who did you enjoy working with the most over the Caps time?
There was a lot, like different styles of coaching. Like Hartman, Richard Hartman. He had good. He had like setting in a good position that you had to. Everybody had to stay in their positions. Like you had to work in conjunction with everybody. Set plays like forechecking and that. He was good in that respect. Who else?
Like Doug.
Doug was a great guy.
I like that. I still speak to him now.
He could talk you into anything. He was really good. He was good with the guys. Really good with the guys. A right players coach.
Yeah.
Because he would look out for players
I always
Get
think
along
the one season joke that we had, there was the one that sticks out for me through the years of the Caps in the Elite League was 2009-2010 when it was like it was Doug's last year, and we had like Owen Fussy, Simon Lambert, Cody was in goals. We had good Brits as well, like Ben O'Connor, Garside,
Yeah, I mean,
Neil was still there. You know what I mean? And I mind, I think we maybe finished 4th in the league that year, and I always mind it was the one time I thought we were going to make Nottingham, and we played Nottingham in the quarter final. We drew 4 each year.
Yeah.
And we went down to Nottingham, we got beat 4-0, I think it was. My Hutchie was playing, and Dan Welch, and I always thought that was one of the best Caps team we ever had.
It was, yeah, it probably was one of the best teams that we had. Overall, like the whole team. The whole team suited each other, they all played well. Because Doug had them pretty well. Like bringing in decent players, like good players.
Yeah.
I
that was the thing, as you say, because Doug could sell it in the end, so he would talk these players to come here, wouldn't he? There was some good signings in that time.
Well, some of the things that they used to tell them to get them to sign, we got to try and follow up on that. But nah, he was a good guy. He was a really good guy, good organiser, really good organiser. Like, and to get everything right for the players, so that they just need to go out on the ice and perform. So he took a lot of pressure off ice stuff. He was really good at that. Really good at that.
So just touching on you working with the juniors, you were head coach in Murrayfield Juniors for a long period of time, and so was that obviously something that you were really passionate about bringing these guys through? You said you weren't you weren't interested in the younger age, but like your forte was working with these guys at that later age and trying to push them into the senior
I
hockey.
wouldn't say I wasn't interested in the young ones, I just didn't have the patience to actually coach them. So when Stuart Robertson actually took over the ice hockey here, he asked, because he was already involved with the juniors, and he asked me if I would, with him taking over the ice hockey, he asked me if I would set up the juniors. So I got a lot of my old mates that I played with, because quite a bit of the time they had coaches that never played hockey, and they weren't getting I don't think they were getting the attention that they needed. So because I think it was like 2 guys, Stuart Muir and Davy Young, that they were doing all the teams together. So I just thought that we needed like a coach for each team, so they're getting, and we all help each other out. All the coaches will be on with every age group, helping each other out. But they'll have a main coach that they can relate to. So I got, and they'd all played ice hockey before. So the likes of Mike McRae, David Douglas, Graham Flockart, Duncan McIntyre. So they spread them over the juniors, and I ended up taking, Duncan had the 19s. And I ended up taking over, I think it was the 16s I took. So they were getting pretty good tuition from us. And we tried to spread it out, try and get guys for each age group, half of them playing up to the next level, so they knew, because you were only in the juniors for 2 years for that age group. So if you got them up their second year, they get a taste of what's expected of them, what they need to achieve to get ice time on that. And it worked pretty well. We started becoming quite successful in the juniors. And then they always were chopping and changing the age groups at the top end.
Yeah.
In fact, they went from under 10s, 12s, 14s, they went to 11s, 13s, 15s.
I think you still do that now, still chop and change it. And then SNL as well, though you coached SNL with the Caps, but you were quite successful, weren't you? I think, did you have quadruple years in that?
Yeah, we won the league 2 or 3 years. We had, I think 1 year we did the Grand Slam with what they call the Autumn Cup and the Spring Cup, or I don't know what they were called in the juniors. But no, they were good. And I've done a bit of coaching with the national teams. Under 16 level, under 19 level as well. I used to go down and play against England at the playoffs, the final of the playoffs. They would play on
in the morning. Was it in the morning?
The morning on the Sunday there. That was interesting as well. So yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it because it's good to see the kids developing, and you've been part of that. So you can take a wee bit of pride in it.
So talking about kids developing, you're on to Ross and Neil.
Yeah.
So you obviously were involved in him coming through Murrayfield Juniors, and then they both progressed to play senior hockey and played with the Caps. And
Yeah.
Ross played the kind of the early B&L years, didn't
The
he?
early B&L years, Ross
And then
played.
Neil
Yeah.
was in the elite league for
Yeah.
many years.
Yeah, he was in right up until, well, I think it was 16, 17 or something.
You must have been proud of what you seen. You
Well,
kept both your kids coming
Well, both
through.
of them coming through to play senior level, because you never know when they're younger, but you can see, like, they were actually good hockey players in the fact that they were good passers of the puck, good skaters, they knew how to play the game, so you could see that they were going to be good players, just a matter if they were able to make the step up to senior hockey. Especially like later on, when the elite league was starting to develop, and you need to be higher level hockey.
I think as well, I think Neil holds the record for the Caps for the most games ever played, and I think it's the only record that Singy doesn't have.
Right. Yeah, well, I remember a few years ago, somebody had put in Singy's record, the record number of games for the Capitals, and I thought, well, I just have to remind them here.
Of course,
Because I think actually I had the most games for the Racers.
What is it?
I think so.
Right.
Because I played, well, right through, I played for the 70s. So, although you didn't play in the early 70s, or in the 70s, you didn't play that many games. Like later on, you were playing like 50 games in a season or something, 50, 60 games in a season.
Like
But you're lucky if you played 30
right.
in the 70s. So I had about maybe 8 or 9 years head start on all the rest of them that played for the 80s through to the demise of the Racers.
So obviously after the Capitals, in 2018, and the Murrayfield Racers came back in SNL, you had a couple of years there, a couple of successful years as assistant coach to Tony, and then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And for you, that was kind of the end of your coaching. Was that?
Well,
did you feel that was
yeah,
time to step away, or?
After being away, if Tony had the Racers again, I would have probably come back if Tony had wanted me back. I would have came back, but it went in a different direction after COVID. Plus, I got used to not being, because it'd been my life for 40 years, nearly 50 years. It's been my life. So you get used to it not being there. Well, started getting used to not being there.
Yeah.
And you think, oh well, maybe it is time. But then, as I say, they went in a different direction. Getting lunch here to coach and whatever. So that was ended. So it was fine.
So just going back, just touching on your playing career again there, Jock, just talk about, so you played with GB at the World Championships, so was that 81?
81.
81 in Northern China, and
Yeah.
you also played with Scotland a number of times as well.
Aye.
That must have been a proud honour as well, representing your
Well,
country.
it was good to represent your country, because then you would meet up with a lot of players from other teams that you've been playing against during the season and that, and you find out more about them when you're with them. It was good. It was really good. I played in Europe with the Racers when we won the league and that. We went over into Rotterdam and played in Hungary. That was a great experience as well. Playing over there. It was, you see different part of the world there.
Just away from the norm.
Well, definitely, especially China. It was just unbelievable.
Was
it was unbelievable.
Was Scotty there as well? And
Scotty was there, right? Scotty, Jimmy Pennycook, Mike Ward, Davy Mason, who's no longer
was Dams the coach?
Damson's coach, right? Yeah.
So Jock, how would you sum up your coaching, or your playing career and your coaching career? Just how would you sum that up?
Well, I've enjoyed every minute of it. From start to finish. It's been my life for all these years, and I've really enjoyed every minute of it. I don't think there's obviously wee spells where you go through where you're maybe not playing so well, or the team's not doing so well, so you get a bit down on it, but then you soon get picked up again. You're always here every week, and I've enjoyed every minute. I couldn't have asked for any better.
So just looking here behind us, Jock, this was been your second home for so long. Like you would, back in the days of the Heineken era, the 3 import hockey, packed houses. It must have been great just playing back in the days, just you know, here, and it's not changed much, has it? Couple of licks of
Well,
paid, but
yeah, it's not changed much at all. No, it's as you say, a couple of licks of paint. It's actually looking a lot better these days, like with a foil roof and everything now. But it's definitely moved on a bit, but it's still an old rink compared to when you see all these arena teams and places like that.
the thing I always say, Joke, though, is like people, I see people on social media and they're like, oh, it's the coldest rink in the league and all this, but it's just what we're used to though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you've been brought up here and you've came here and obviously you played here, it's just, this is home for us, isn't it?
Yeah, well, before I started coaching, people say, it must be freezing.
Yeah.
Like, I've been sweating like hell, you're skating about all the time, and you never feel the
No,
cold.
I feel that.
But then you do start to feel it when you're coaching, and it's freezing. But it's what you're used to, yeah, definitely.
Just as well, I want to just quickly touch on the Wembley weekends, because I think, guys, for you there, I didn't sample it, I didn't ever go, but you know, I listen to a lot of older interviews, and guys, for you, as I say, at your era and being at Wembley, it just seemed to be unbelievable. What was that like, the atmosphere? And
The atmosphere was like second to none, like it was brilliant, because like all the fans were mixing, and there was no animosity between any of the fans or anything like that with the players. It was just a great weekend for everybody from start to finish. You would go down there and you stayed for the weekend. Hopefully you were getting into the final on the Sunday. But even then there were the sponsorship and everything behind it, and it was brilliant. Yeah, it was a great weekend and the fans loved it. The fans loved it.
It was a good time for hockey, wasn't it?
It was a great night. Well, you hear a lot of them say, oh, the best times ever, which is true, because there was more, I don't know, it just seemed to be more involvement with the fans, kind of, like, now it's not really the same, I don't think.
See, I think that year, I know me in Scotland that we always speak about this, we try and do things with it, whether it's the signing tables up the stairs or things like that, but I think, as you say, go up to that elite level, I don't think the players do. I'm not saying they didn't do any stuff with the fans, but it's definitely different from when yous were in that top level of hockey. Like, yous would be up in the bar with guys having a drink, and whether it was a fan or a player you just played against, but you don't see that as much now. But I think that's probably in all sports, isn't it, the kind of top level.
It's just changing things, because like when you were away, playing away, especially like down south, you were going away, you were always in the bar after it with other players, their fans as well as your own.
Yeah.
So there was quite a lot of interaction between the fans and players, more so than today, I think, which is probably makes a big difference, I think.
So Joe, we're nearly done. I've got this wee bit, a quick fire, so I just want you to name just kind of what I ask you, so I'll know the first one right away, but best player you ever played with?
Tony Hunt.
Best player coached?
I think the likes of Chris Palmer, when it was like helping, like coaching there, Ivan Matulik, they were really, they were a joy to coach just because they take everything, but they help you out, they make complaints, they just get on with their work, just different professions.
Best player played against?
Probably like the likes of Gary Younger. Like he was.
Did he not score 8 goals against you?
Yeah, we were 7-2 up going into the last period, and we got beat 8-7. And I think he scored.
See, he was an Iron Man in the NHL, wasn't he? He had played like ridiculous amount of games, hadn't he, like in a row before he came over here. But, best player coached against?
Coached against. Well, I don't know about that one.
How about something like Fleury or that? I know you weren't the opposite.
Well, Fleury was he was a good hockey player, man, but like when you get the names for the NHL, you think, okay, these guys are something else. When you see them, they're a different level, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, just in their thinking, they see things quicker.
Step ahead.
They're way in front. And although they don't look like outstanding. Like they're no like well, he was a big guy.
I always mind to say, actually, I got a picture to him in my mind when he came here, and I always mind, like, I can't remember what age I was, I can't remember what year it was, but, and I might have got a picture, but, like, he was, at the time, obviously, he was weirder than me, and he was, well, he still will be, but he was weirder than me, and you just would never have thought, and then
no, you would never have thought it,
and you watch him out there, and even at his age when he came over,
yeah.
but he was still, he finished top points scorer in the Elite League that year and that, but, as you say, like, to look at them, you probably, he just looks like me, but,
yeah.
Yeah,
they're 2-3 steps ahead of everybody else, and you can see it in their pedigree, the difference in them, just watching them how they react to different plays. They're reading part of the game that you wouldn't even be thinking about,
yeah.
because that's 2 steps further down the line. He was really good.
What about toughest player played with or coached? Like as in physically, like a hard man?
Oh, there have been quite a few of them. Big Mike Ware,
I thought he would get mentioned.
Sladek, Paul Hand, he was a tough guy. Paul Hand's a really tough guy. Paul Heavey, that's Sladek, he was a tough guy as well. And Steffenshire, Adam Steffenshire, he was a good all-round player. He could play forward, could play D, and he would fight anybody.
He wasn't scared, he didn't back down. I always mind him fighting guys like Brad Voth and that, he just didn't back down, even though the height was. Well, we'll just touch on Mike Ware for a wee second, but what did you used to think? Obviously you were involved with the coaching, and obviously you coached him in the last year as well. What did you used to think? He just got that, he just lost that rage and just went for it.
Once the mist come over, the red mist comes over his eyes, it was nice. I think Tony was the only one that could try and settle him, didn't talk to him and get him down, because once he lost it, that was it.
He could play as well, Mike.
Oh, he was a good talker. I met up with him a couple of weeks ago, he was back up here.
His son will be playing against Whitley tonight.
Yeah, Mike was, he was something else. Like he was, once, as you say, once he lost it, there was no way back.
No.
You're going, as soon as he starts, he's getting flung out there. I see him chasing guys with the ice. Graham Gardner did it.
Bracknell.
Chasing the guy dived over head first over the bench. Mike's over, trying to get him. It was funny. But yeah, he was a real tough guy.
What about funniest player played with or coached? The guy that was always like good in the room and a great laugh. And
Paul Hand's a good guy.
Yeah.
Paul Hand's funny. Like he's always up to something. Like trickery or like he's always up to something, especially with like rookies and things like that. Yeah, Paul's a really good guy under him. He's pretty funny. Liam Koopmans, he was a funny coach. Yeah, he was always good for a laugh as well.
Yeah.
Like he was the same. He was always up to something. It was a good laugh. It was really funny.
What about biggest influence on your career?
Johnny Carlisle, when I first started playing hockey. It was just the way that he trained. You had to play hard to get the results, or to get anything out of the game. You had to play hard, trying keeping your level up. He was a big influence on my career. And plus, he was a really knowledgeable hockey guy. Because he was a really good hockey player as well in his day. I never saw him playing, but Willie Clark can talk about him and say it. Like he was something else in a hockey player. So it was good. He was a good coach as well.
And finally, in this, best goal ever scored, or the one that sticks out?
The one that sticks is the one in the last game against Bellingham. And I do remember the goals against in that cup final. So they were the ones. There's other ones probably that didn't mean anything, but I would think it was a good goal.
Yeah.
But nothing of no importance. Well, no. It wasn't like a game-winning goal or anything like that.
No, what? Well, just finally as well, Joe, racers, as I say, we mentioned the racers fans, Caps fans, and you got to know them all through the years. Do you have anything to say to them just for, for all the time that you were involved?
Well, really just their enthusiasm for the sport was just unbelievable. And the noise that they used to make in games was always good for the players. With these guys cheering you behind, they were always there for you, which was good. And as I said, in the early days, you had a good rapport with them, so you always had time for them when they come and spoke to you. You would have an hour with them. That was really good. And they were the good days where there were good involvement with the fans.
Yeah.
So, because I mean, when, as I said, we were playing in Europe, there was a load of them come over to Rotterdam and Hungary, well, especially Rotterdam, to support us.
Yeah.
It was really good. Really good.
Well, hopefully a few of them might be back here on Saturday night,
Well,
and that would be
I
good.
think there's a few that will still come to the games, but maybe there'll be a few more that will show up on Saturday.
Yeah.
Which we've not seen for a long time.
Well, Joe, thanks very much for coming
Yep.
along and having a talk with us tonight, and really looking forward to Saturday. I think it's well overdue to see your number 12 getting lifted up there to the roof, and as I say, hopefully there'll be, well, I think there'll be a really big crowd. I think Whitley are bringing a big crowd as well for the game, which is good, and hopefully we'll see some of your old teammates as well.
Hopefully a good turnout for the guys that have known Blighty over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be a good night.
Thanks very much for talking, Jock.
Thanking you.
Cheers.
Taking the time out. Thanks.